Okay, welcome to Capcut for Beginners. This is video editing training for anyone that's just starting out creating video. And I'm just going to go in and share my screen. So for those that don't know me, I am Deb Szabo and welcome to our training. For those that don't know me, I'm a marketing strategist, and a few years ago, I learned pretty quickly that video was such a valuable resource in helping generate leads and also build community and convert sales. So it became my mission to learn everything I could to know about using video, and the business that I was working with at the time, we doubled down on using video, and it made a dramatic difference to the business profitability and revenue, basically. So we have continued to do that, and I still work with that business as a client now, as well as my own business and other clients that I continue to support and help them with video with. I started video. I am a bit of a tech geek. So what that means is that I'm always out there experimenting with different software programs. And that now led me to also understanding AI and using AI. And now I write AI custom instructions, so not just prompts. I know a lot of people share prompts online, but I like to actually write AI assistant custom instructions. And it's also now part of my toolbox as far as marketing goes. So today what I want to do is take you through how to use Capcut on our desktop and get the basics of video editing under wraps. Now, if anyone hasn't connected with me, this is my Instagram handle, and yeah, please feel free to take a little snapshot of today and post it up in your stories and tag me. I would love to follow along with your journey as well. So let's jump straight in. So the reality is for me that making videos equals lead generation. And one of the things that I learned working with my members inside Content Catalyst, which is our community, online community, where each month we get together, we look at marketing strategy, we create video content, and we plan our next month. And they are our sessions that we run. So I run monthly sessions about video editing because I know that this is one of the biggest barriers for making content. And I'd love to know, is this a barrier for you making video content? Let me know, how do you actually feel about making content? Is this something that you love to do, dabble a little bit, or you're an absolute newbie? Absolute newbie, Kylie. Yeah, perfect. Welcome. So for those people that have never used any software before of editing, then there are so many different options out there available for you. And one of the things that over the years, I have pretty much used them all, from pro software to the absolute beginner software. And what I'm going to teach you today, you'll be able to transfer across any programs that you decide to use. And I guess what I want to focus in today on showing you is the desktop version of editing, because for me, I love the convenience of having editing available on my phone to push out a quick video. But I'm going to say that when it comes to actually creating a short form video for social media, I get pretty frustrated quickly when I'm trying to see my eyesight. I don't know about you, it's getting worse as I get older. And it's like, it's really hard to see, and it gets quite fiddly on your phone. So while I love the convenience of having it on my phone, when it comes to actually getting the job done quickly, I found that being able to edit on my desktop was so much faster and so much easier. And I'm going to show you how you can speed up your editing process. So for the reason why we're using Capcut today is because it enables you to use it on your phone as well as on your computer or across all devices. So it doesn't matter whether you've got an iPhone or whether you've got a Android, whether you've got a PC or Mac, or whether you've got a tablet, you can use Capcut across all the devices. And for that reason, I have been a massive fan of Capcut. So if you haven't already, please download the app or open up whatever software you prefer to use. But when you open up the desktop version of Capcut, you notice there are two different versions. One is on your browser and one is actually an app on your computer. Today we're going to work on the app on your computer, not on the browser. And the difference looks like this. So the one on the browser has like a blue interface up the top here, where the one with the app has the black background. We're going to use the black background, and the reason is because it will make editing a lot more quicker as well, because it doesn't have to upload and download to a cloud and use your internet that way. Okay, so and the features, there's more features inside the desktop app as well. Has everyone got CapCut downloaded on their computer? Yep, perfect. So we can jump in and you can do this as we go. So my goal for Content Catalyst is to help people create one, video content, to build a community with inside their online presence, because with community we create connection and we create authentic connections for conversion. So for me, video, there are a lot of creators out there that you can go, you can make faceless content. People are getting millions of views with faceless content. My goal is always about our personal brand and showing up authentically you. Now, I mentioned that I'm a massive fan of AI, but I am also a massive fan of being human as well. And so the best way for you to connect with your audience is by you showing up online, talking to camera, which essentially means you're talking to your audience. And for that reason alone, I've created systems for us to be able to create one video and be able to repurpose that across multiple platforms with clicks of a button, using AI as our marketing assistants to be able to automate a lot of things that used to take a long time. So today I'm going to share with you how you can use CapCut to make not just your social media videos, but also videos for your podcast, videos for your emails, videos for your YouTube, and of course, social media vertical videos as well. So let's jump into CapCut and we are going to open it up. So when you open up CapCut on your desktop, this is pretty much what it looks like. Yours probably doesn't have all those videos, but you can see I make a lot. So let's get started. Whenever we open up our desktop, and I'm just going to put this in list view for now because it's less overwhelming when you look at it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just get familiar with this first interface. Now, over here on the left side is the spaces. So you will get allocated a space, and this is like a cloud. So when you are sharing across devices from your phone over to and I'm just making sure I record it because I always freak out. Yep, I am recording. And so when we have data on our phone and we're editing a video on our phone, we can actually transfer that data from our phone over to the cloud in the space, what we call the space. And then I can get that video and I can download it to work on my computer. And I do this all the time because I use the teleprompter feature and the green screen feature on my phone to record, but then I go over and edit it super quickly on my computer. So what you'll find is that you have spaces here, and this is my space that I have a lot of my videos in, and you can see I've got folders, and then I've also got a couple of other different spaces as well. So this is great if you want to share content between your clients or other people. Maybe your VAs are editing content and you can actually share within here. So anything that is in the cloud, essentially, you will find in here. Now, when you go to make a brand kit, all of your brand kit assets are actually in here as well. So when I click on my space, I've got brand kit, and then I can upload all of my colors. So my colors I use all the time. So if you've got your brand board and you know your hex colors, I highly recommend going in and uploading your colors into here, because when you go to make videos quickly and easily, you don't want to be always looking up the color of what your brand is, and you also don't want to not use your brand colors as well. You can upload different coloring edits, which are called LUTs. So that gives you a certain colored filter for your style of videos. You can also set up text presets. So these are the ones that you use over and over again. You can upload music. So if you've got an intro or an outro for your podcast, for example, you can pop that in here. Backgrounds. So if you've got like a little podcast icon that you use as a teaser on your videos, you can store that here. Fonts, if you've got specific fonts. I have different stickers that I can get out of Capcut, Canva rather, and I can store them in here. Images and videos. So that is all available in your brand kit. Now I have a separate YouTube video that shows you how to upload those. And there are a couple of little tricks in there, especially when you get to your fonts and things like that. So you can go and watch that video, and I'll get Rose to pop that link in the comments as well. How to install your brand kit. Okay, so then we want to go over, and then you've got templates. So for anyone that does love super quick ways of making content, you have got templates over here that you can go through, and they've got like different ones. So you've got ones for fitness, you've got ones that are memes, you've got ones that are celebrate, and yeah, for business. So you can go over and use those templates. Now, some of them are really, really good, and some of them are pretty basic as well. So it's, you know, it's an individual thing. They update them all the time, but there are some that are really, really good that you can use that come up all the time. All right, let's jump into actually editing a video. So now, before we jump in, I just want to go through this screen here. So if I want to record my screen, like you do with Loom, you can click this button here and it will actually go into being able to record your screen just like you would in Loom. Auto cut out is if you want to remove the background, enhancing quality. Now, where you see the little diamonds, these are pro features. Now, there are a lot of things you can do in the free version, but a lot of things that when you start to get up into more advanced editing, then they are pro features. Probably one of my most favorite things up here is the long form to short form video maker. And so if you have got a podcast, for example, or a long YouTube video and you want to trim it up into short clips, you can upload your video into here, and that will give you up to 20 short videos, and you can change the captions, and you can select how long you want them to be. And all you have to do is just either upload the video from your space, so from a video that you've already made, or you can actually go in and upload it directly from your computer. But we're not going to do that right now. We're going to go back to the editing. So we're going to create a project. We're going to click on that big blue button. And then this is the interface that we're going to look at here. Now, I play around with the way that mine gets laid out, and you can drag and drop these things, but this is how mine is looking at the moment. But over on this side, this is the main side of where you'll find how to import your videos. Now, I just want to say this. Most video editors have a very similar dashboard. So if you decide that you're going to go over and use DaVinci or Premiere Pro, iMovie, whatever, they all pretty much have a similar interface. So what we're going to do is we're going to import some videos. Now, when you import your videos, we're going to come up, and I'm just trying to drag this over so we can actually have a look of what we're going to do. So this button here says click and import your video. Now I can go over to my folder and I can import my videos. Now you can import one by one, or you can just highlight all your videos and import them all into your library. Okay, so now we have them here. So now I've got my assets. I've got a JPEG file, I've got some images, and I've also got some videos in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the video that I want, and you can preview it. And then the wonderful thing about this program is everything is drag and drop. Nothing complicated at all. So we're just going to grab it and we're going to drag it on the timeline. Now, your player might come up in the middle here, as mine usually does, but I played around with some settings and it comes over on the side because, like I said, my eyesight's not that good. I need to update my glasses prescription, I think. So I like to be able to have a zoom in of what I like to see. So now this is what is generic about all video editors. This is called our timeline. So this section here is called our timeline. And this bar is what we call our playhead. Our playhead and our timeline is the same across any editing program that we have. These are all of our assets that are our library that we're going to import. And now we're going to edit the video. So one of the things that is different between the phone app and the desktop app, which I absolutely love, is I can see the audio wave. Now, when you can see the audio wave, it makes it so much easier to trim the fluff. And I always say when we're making good videos, you want to trim as much fluff out of a video because we all have really short attention spans. So the fluff for me is those first few seconds of when we take a breath and press record. Those, and you will generally see when you start to edit a lot, it's normally 1 to 3 seconds of you going, and that's enough for people to scroll on these days. So it's really important to get as precise as we can to our editing. But on my phone, I can't see this. Now, at the moment, you can just see a little squiggle. So what I'm going to do is hover over here until I see a horizontal button, and I'm going to drag that down. And now all of a sudden, you can actually see that that line has gotten bigger. I'm actually going to go over here to zoom, and now I want to stretch out that video. Now this video is only 23 seconds long. It's nice and short, so we can have a little edit of it. Now, when we start to edit, what I want to do is I can scrub through that whole timeline like this. But what I'm looking at is, see these dead spaces here? I want to trim all those out. But I know I've made a mistake in this video, so let's have a look. Hey, I'm Deb Szabo. I'm a marketing strategist and video coach. And, oh, that's right. Let's start again. Okay, ready? So we need to get rid of that bit. Okay, do it again. Hi, I'm Deb Szabo. I'm a marketing strategist and video coach, and I'm here to help you grow your business using strategic video marketing and AI. Okay, so I can straight away see what I'm going to eliminate and trim out from that timeline. So when you are editing your videos, and this is the main difference between editing on your phone and editing on a desktop editor, is because I can see that sound wave and I automatically know the bits that I'm going to trim out before I even hear the words. And these are these little dead sections here. But there is another way on how you can edit as well. Now, for anyone that's used a script or any other text-based editors, you can actually press this button here and it's got transcript, and it will actually transcribe your whole conversation, and you can use the text-based editor and it'll trim out all the bits out of it. So you can see there that it's already got, delete 1 second out of there, and I can delete that bit out of there, okay? And it will automatically trim that up. It's pretty good. Most video editors do an okay job, and I say most because I've used Riverside, Descript, I've used all of them, Premiere Pro. They all do a pretty good job of being able to cut out those blank spaces. But if I look at this with my eye, I know that there's still blank spaces in there. I'm not going to edit like this, so I'm going to undo that. But I do love, let's put it back on the timeline. But I do love having this here that I can I'll just retranscribe it. I love actually having it here when I'm editing my podcasts and I'm editing long videos, because I can actually see the words and I know the little sound bites that I want. However, for this reason, I'm just going to edit using the timeline. So let's get rid of this, and I'm just going to go back over to here. I'm going to stretch this out. If you know how to do this part of editing, everything else that I show, that's automated, is a game changer. So first of all, I'm going to take my timeline to here, and I'm going to go over to this part here where it's got split. This is how we actually trim our clips. So I'm just going to go up to here and I'm going to press delete. Now Capcut will automatically push that main video across to the beginning. And you can see there.
Hey, I'm Deb Szabo. I'm a marketing strategist and video coach. And, oh, that's right.
Okay, so now I've made a mistake.
Let's start again. Okay, ready? I'm a marketing, okay, do it again.
There. All right, so now I know that I want to trim all of this section of the video because I've made a mistake and I'm like, oh, I've got to start again. So I can go up here and press split again and just manually delete this, but we are doing speed editing here. And so when we do speed editing, we want as many shortcuts as we can. So I'm going to go to the little button next to it and it's got delete, and that'll delete everything on the left side. So wherever my playhead is, I'm going to click on that, make sure your clip is clicked, and then I can come up and it's going to click everything that's on the left side of that clip. If I wanted everything on the right side of it, I then click that side, so it'll delete everything on the right side of that clip. And I am going to do that. I'm going to scrub right to the end and I'm going to hold it. Can you see that squiggle there? I'm going to hold it right there and I'm going to delete everything on that side. And that is my video nicely trimmed, perfectly. I'm happy with everything else in there. No worries. Okay, so the next thing we want to do, now we've got our A roll. So this is what we call our A roll, beautifully, nicely trimmed, and I'm happy with that. So then the next thing that I'm going to do is I like to add a little bit of interest in the video, and that's what we call B-roll. So B-roll is supplementary footage, and if you watch any TV show, any movie, every 2 seconds they will change that clip of the screen, and that's to hold your attention. So what we do is we're going to grab some video and we are going to, excuse me, just drag that on the timeline again. And we're going to show, this is me at my computer, but I just want to show me at the computer. I don't want me actually talking in here. So there's a couple of things I want to do. I'm just going to grab that little bit where my mouth is not opened, maybe from here, maybe from there. So I'm going to click, make sure I've clicked on that clip and delete everything to the left. And then I'm going to maybe scrub to here. With B-roll, this is another mistake that I see a lot of people do, is they show too much B-roll. So if you've got 5 seconds of B-roll on your video, that's probably too much, unless it's a really interesting thing that you're showing. So I generally keep my B-roll to about 2 seconds, no more. If I'm doing short clips like for Reels or TikToks or Facebook videos, LinkedIn, whatever, often my B-roll is probably about 1 second. So I'm just going to go to here and I'm going to click and I'm going to get rid of everything to the left. Now, the problem is that when I go and I have that over there, it's still got me talking. So I need to quieten that clip. To do that, I can just drag the audio clip volume down. Now that silences the clip on top. There is another way of doing that. I'm just going to undo and you can see the volume here again. I'm going to come over, click the clip, and I'm going to go audio, and it's already on audio there. And I can manually just take the clip down. So there's 2 ways on how you can do it. Personally, I like the quick way and then just grabbing it and dragging it down. Now I have a silent clip that's sitting on my B-roll, on my A-line clip. So that's good. I might even grab another one and I'm going to do the same. And then I'm just going to literally clip the back end and I'm going to just take the volume down as well. And I can just drag that anywhere I like on that timeline. And I might even get one more. And I can actually drag the clip this way as well. So whenever you're splitting clips, you can actually just drag it and put it to there, clip, delete the back end. And now I just want to drag it on there. I'm going to take the volume down. So now I've got some B-roll clips on my video. So what's that's going to look like?
Strategist and video coach, and I'm here to help you grow your business using strategic video.
Okay, so you can see there that I've just got some B-roll clips on top. That's fine. So now I've got an end screen that I want to lead people to, say, maybe my webinar, to act now or listen to my podcast. So again, this is just an image that I made in Canva. And I often put an end screen on, say, my video podcasts when I'm making content for YouTube. And so this is literally dragged on here. Now you can see there's no audio wave on here because it's just an image. So what I'm going to do, now that we've trimmed our clip, our A-roll clip of our talking head video, we've added some B-roll in, and we've got that space throughout our video. Now I'm actually going to add an end part of the video, which is an image. And now we're going to add a transition. Now transitions are when we split clips. So you can see here that if I wanted to, because I'm breathing in,
Your business is
you can see a quick breath. If I was cutting that out, and I don't need to, but if I wanted to, I could just trim that bit out. And you know, when you make mistakes when you're talking, you'll often trim bits out like that. It's like,
your business is
and you can see a little jump. That's pretty harmless, but sometimes they're more obvious than others. You can use what we call transitions, and they're like, and again, there's lots of different ones that you can put in that make it dissolve or give it a certain effect to go from one scene to the next. I'm not going to do it for this video here, but what I will do is I want to pretend that this is our video podcast and we're putting an end screen on to go and watch this video or sign up to my whatever. So I do want to actually transition from this to this. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a transition that I love to use for my podcast called Fade to Black. And now you can see I've got a little star. So whenever you like something that you're going to use repetitively, every one of them, you can see a little star there. If you star them, it'll come up in your favorites up here. So this one has already got a star. And then I'm just going to click on that little plus button, and that'll automatically just put that transition of the black screen in there. So I like that. The other good one is white flash. The white flash looks good as well. Okay, and you can see it just separates that clip from that clip. The other one that I actually really like to use, and I do this when I have my video podcasts, is I will often put a, normally after the intro, after the hook of my podcast, I will tell people about, say, an up and coming webinar and encourage people if they want to, you know, work more with me. And I normally stack that in the first half of my podcast. And I like to separate that with a slide left. So that's my other favorite one that I generally used. Be very sparingly with transitions when you're starting out. Often the quickest way I can see amateur footage is if you overuse transitions. And especially if you're editing inside, say, Instagram's app, they have transitions in there, and they can make, some of them, they look overkill, they look amateur. So be sparing with them. And what I can do with this is, you can see here that that's a fade to black, but I actually, I'm going to put this one, this is another one I like to use. It's a page turner. A page turner is really cool if you wanted to do a chapter. So like if you were doing a podcast and you were going, I've got 3 steps on how to do this, you can actually put a page turner in to go step 1, page turn, or chapter 1, page turn. And so I like the page turn one. That's probably one of my favorites, but that's pretty average on its own. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to add a sound effect of the page turning. Then it goes from being amateur to more pro level. And how we find that is we're going to go over to audio up on the top left-hand corner. And you've got music, which is licensed, that you can use it across different platforms. And that's the other reason I do like Capcut, is that it has a whole big music library in here. And then I've got over here sound effects. Now, sound effects I use all the time. Sound effects for movies, you'll see movies, they have what's called Foley artists, and Foley artists actually make sound effects for slaps in the face, shoes walking on the ground, rain on tin roofs, because we know that when we emphasize certain sounds, it helps to get people's attention. And you'll see whenever I'm doing calls to action, you can see I've got mouse click here. Mouse click is a great one when you want people to sign up and take an action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually type in page turn, page flip. There you go. And click on it. Yep. So you can go through. It's a little page turn. I think maybe that one. That's a little page turn. And then that little, you can just, again, save them if you want them, or press plus, and that'll add it to the timeline. So now I've got, I'm just going to drag that up so I can see it. Okay, so now you've got your little page turn sound effects. So now if I go, okay, and that's all it needs to be. So if you want to go through and you want to add different sound effects, you can just go through here. Anything that you've saved will come up in your favorites as well in sound effects. Probably some of my most favorite sound effects are whooshes, but don't overuse them. And that's they're really good when you want to actually transition a scene or make things pop. Again, all you need to do to find the sound effect that you want is just go over to audio, and I'm in favorites at the moment, but just click on sound effect. And let's say you wanted gunshot. I don't know why I'm thinking a gunshot, because that's probably not the best one to do. Pop is one that I love to use, actually. So there's some pop ones, and pops are really good if you want to emphasize something on screen, like some text or a little bubble of information. And again, you can just click on them. And so if you've got a few things popping up on screen, I love the little pop sounds. They're really good. So let's put a pop on screen. So
I'm a marketing strategist.
Okay, so that's good. I want to finish off here with some text on screen to say, listen now to my podcast. So we're going to click up here to text, and we're going to click text. And we're just going to say, listen now. Now, when you have text, you can move it any way you like on screen. I'm going to put it here. When you are making videos for social media, we have what's called safe zones. Safe zones is you don't want to put anything right up the top here, because you've got the social media apps bits often down the side here. Stay clear of the side. And then from about here downwards, stay clear of putting any text or writing anywhere down here. When it comes to actually adding captions, I'm going to add captions in a second and show you that. But when it comes to adding text, try and keep your text up the top, and you can then change your colors and things like that. So if you've got your branded color, your branded fonts, you can see I've got an uploaded font here. So I'm going to click that one, and then I can make it bold. I can actually change the color. So there's my brand colors. And then we can actually go in, because that pink looks hard on that one. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to put a little outline on it, but I might change that outline to white. I can make it bigger. I can even put it in a box and put it in a pink box. And so now if I wanted to as well, I can get the little dropper, and I can make it the same pink as what's on there. So these are little tricks that you can do to help personalize your content. And I want to put it over here. Now, that is going to go wherever. So if I drag that over to here, it's going to be on that part of the timeline. If I drag it over to here, it's going to come over on that part of the timeline. I can stretch it out, or I can shrink it back in. Now, when it pops up, I can then animate that to come in, and I just click on animation, and I can go through and I might have typewriter, or I might have pop. Oh, I like pop. There's pop. Let's grab that little pop sound that we had before. I'm just going to cut that and I'm going to paste it here. So now it's going to look something like this. Yeah. So that when you put a sound effect with some text coming up on screen, it makes the eye go to where that action happens. So animation is really cool, right? So that's good. Now what I want to do, so now we've added text, we've added sound effects, but what I'm actually going to do is go one step further and I'm going to show you stickers. So stickers are really cool to add icons, emojis, all sorts of things. But what I want is I want a pointer. Yes, that one will do. So we'll make it look like a little mouse click. And I'm going to turn it so it's like that. And I want it to come in. After it comes in, pop. And then what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to add a sound effect on that one. So we're going to go up here and we're going to write mouse click. And there's my sound effect there. So now it's like, listen now. And then I will just shorten that a little bit. Put it in line with there. You want to line up your sound effect for when it comes in, and you can do that by just dragging that. And then that's how you add stickers. Now there is a plethora of stickers in here that you can think of. One of the other ones I really like is the clock ticking. I use the clock ticking when I want to add some emphasis of my offer is just about to close. That's a really good one for that. So you can scroll through and you can see there's all different clocks. I like to find one that's animated. So there's one back up the top here. And again, you can just click on that. And you can see the clock. So I'm just going to put that down the front here, right? So just having the clock ticking on its own. Let's just move that up here. Let's just pretend that you were having a sale and the doors are about to shut on an offer that you were doing, right? On its own, that's like,
Deb Szabo,
that's pretty boring. So we want to always think about how can we emphasize that of going, my doors are shutting right now. Clock ticking. You can see. No, that's a slow one. I want it fast. So that fast clock will help to emphasize when you're like, hey, I've got this offer. It's only on for 24 hours. The doors are about to shut. Don't miss out. A fast ticking clock is going to emphasize dramatic urgency. Now you can see that that sound effect, I'm just going to drag that along to here. But I only want it to go to there. So again, just like how I did with the splitting of the timeline, we're going to go up here and we're going to click the background. So it only goes for the time that I want it.
strategist.
Okay, and that's how we add. So now just to summarize, we've trimmed our clip of all the fluff. We've then added in some B-roll text, which is up here. We've added in some sound effects. I'm just going to drag that up under there. So now we've got our sound effects. We've also added text on screen, and we've also added stickers. So audio, text, stickers, and transitions. That is essentially the basics of getting around in Capcut. There's only one last thing that I will wrap up with, and that is captions. Now, captions these days are pretty important on videos because a lot of people do watch their videos with the sound down. If you have an accent when you talk, you definitely want to have captions. It's really interesting. I work with one of my clients, and I have two people that do the same job. One of those people are very articulate in their talking, but when I have one of the other people in the business, when they talk, they're not as articulate, but people absolutely love them on screen. Like they just have this beautiful camera presence, but that person generally muffles. And so I always have to make sure that we have captions on their videos. So there's a couple of reasons why we want captions. One, it makes people that are watching with the sound down. Two, if you are not particularly clear with your talking. But three, there's a trick that I use when I am doing my long form videos or my talking head videos to be able to use AI to help me further down the track to repurpose content, and that is to create captions. So we're going to go across the top here and we're going to go to captions. Now, if I just generate, it's just going to generate plain text ones, but if we go over to templates, we can then choose which ones we like. Now, like everything, this is a free program, but if you want the bells and whistles ones, the ones with the diamonds are the pro version of Capcut. So I'm just going to pick one that is like
Hi, I'm
this.
Deb Szabo. I'm a marketing.
Okay, so I've just clicked one of the, and it's going to automatically generate those captions. So here's the thing. When I put captions on screen, you can see it's come up here. Don't ever put your captions above your head because it makes it really hard to people focus on what you're saying out of your mouth and have eye contact. If you put it up the top here, people by default will automatically just look up here. And so that doesn't create connection with you. So what you want to do is make sure at all times that your captions are under your chin. So I'm just going to drag them under here. Now I'm just going to just change that one because it's probably not the best one for what I want to show. That one.
I'm a marketing strategist.
So if I want to change it, I can delete current captions and then just regenerate them and I can change it over. Perfect. Okay, that one's better. I can see it now. Okay, so now what you'll find is it never spells my name right. So we have to correct the spelling errors. Kylie's nodding her head. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so we just go over here to captions and you can see straight away that my name is wrong. So I'm just going to go up and it's got Szabo. So I'm going to highlight that. Now I can just correct it from here and I can just type over it. But if I've got a long video, especially a video podcast, and maybe I've said my name or that particular word over and over again, I don't want to go through the whole thing and have to change that word every single time. So all I'm going to do is highlight that word and I'm going to come over to here and I'm going to go to that little magnifying glass and it'll find all those Szabos and I'm going to replace it with SZABO and it will replace every single one of them throughout the video. This is super handy for any time you are transcribing captions. So now I'm just going to run through. I can actually just scan through and make sure there's no other errors in there. The first thing I'm going to fix is that high because it's starting with the sentence and everything else looks fine from there. Now, if I did want to edit it further, I can change to your font in your business. Let's go back up the top. There it is. So now I want to change to my font. If I wanted to change the color, I could again go back to my color and change it to whatever from there. Just going to leave it as it was. All right, so I'm ready to go now. That's it. I'm happy with everything else. So now I've got my captions. The only last thing I want to do is add music. So maybe I want a classical song. For this purpose, I'm going to just add that on there. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to say, when you do add music, is the majority of mistakes that people make when they put music on videos, and it doesn't matter whether you use Capcut, but I especially see it used when people actually edit inside, say, Instagram, is that the music is too loud. So whenever you have music and you're adding a trending song onto your reel on Instagram, for example, it should be at 1. The setting needs to be at 1, otherwise it's too loud and you will distract from what you're saying. So the first thing I noticed that music doesn't start till here. I want to just cut that in. So I'm going to drag that up and I'll move it back up. And then because, see these little orange bars, that means that it's peaking at a loud volume. So I want to drag this right down. And then I'm going to go over to the end of the video, and then we're going to just delete the back half of that. So now let's just have a listen.
Hi, I'm Deb Szabo. I'm a marketing strategist and video.
Still too loud for my liking. I'm going to drop that right down.
Hi, I'm Deb Szabo. I'm a marketing strategist and video coach, and I'm here to help you grow your business using strategic video marketing and AI.
Okay, so that's fine. What I am going to say, when it comes to those captions, you can see that they're way too low. I want them up here, a little bit more under my mouth. Okay, so now that's got multi-lines in it too. Generally, I like to use one that's just one line at a time. So, but that comes down to the choice. You can go through the captions. But essentially what we've done today, we've added in our timeline, we've trimmed up all the fluff, all the dead bits. We've added in our B-roll. We've added in some graphics. We've added in text. We've added in captions. We've added in sound effects, and we've added in some music. So that was pretty much everything that I said I would show you today, except for exporting. So when we go to export our video, we're going to come up to the top right-hand corner here and export our video. Now, if it takes a moment, like it is doing for me today, you can actually just come up to here and export. There. So always remember to name your video. So test, and then you can go back over to your folder. Now, this is where it gets to the part of once you save it in your folder, generally I export all my videos at 1080p, but if I have filmed in 4K, like whether you're using your phone, you can change your phone to 4K. I have a DSLR camera. I'll often film in 4K with that. If I'm using that video 4K filmed and I want to export it, I can export it at 4K for YouTube. But majority of everything that you use will just be 1080p, so you don't need to change that. Okay. If I have a YouTube video and I want to also take that audio for my podcast, I click this button here and that will give me an MP3. And what that means is if I was actually recording a video podcast, I could take that video, put it on YouTube, and then I could take that audio and put it over on Kajabi and send it out on my podcast. And then the most important thing that I always get out, but this is a social media video, so I'm not going to click that. If I want to sync this to my space, remember the space is the cloud, because let's just say I started editing it and then I might get my VA to finish off editing it, or I might want to send it to Liz to go, here's your video, Liz. We can share it in a space. So I can actually click here and it'll sync it to the cloud space. Then I might want to open that up on my phone, or Liz might want to edit it more. So I don't need to do that today. But what I will do is I will click the captions. And the reason why I'm going to click the captions is because if that was, say, a minute video and of talking, and I wanted to cheat because I hate writing captions on social media, I have an AI assistant that I can take that transcription, upload it in there, click a button, and then it'll write optimized SEO captions about what the video is using that AI assistant. But if I had a video podcast, I have also a YouTube podcast producer, which will use that transcription. And it will also make optimized show notes, the description section for my YouTube video. I can then take that transcription and I can get it to then make a blog using my words that are fully optimized as well. So that is why having that transcription here makes all the difference. You need to make sure that's on text so the AI can read it. And then we're just going to export that video.
Hi, I'm a marketing strategist and video.
Now, the other thing to note is that from here, you can actually export and post directly into TikTok or YouTube. However, I just generally have everything stored in a folder, and then I have that folder that my VA, for example, or myself can go over to my social media scheduler. I use Vista Social, and then it can push it out to YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all with a click of a button. And that is the smart way of how we create omnipresence across all the social media platforms. So that is all we need to do in order to export your video. Now, one of the things that I notice that when people are creating content is having that transcription allows me to then go over, like I said, to my AI and upload that transcription to then be able to create my blog, my LinkedIn newsletter, my email, and then also my short clips for my social media. So that is probably one of the biggest things that I work on is working smarter, not harder for whatever content that you are making. And so I hope you got some value out of today with this session. If you do want to actually get a strategy for creating content, and this is probably one of the biggest things that I would say to most people is when you are creating content, it's all about having a strategy because a strategy will help you make content smarter. And this is probably one of the biggest things that I've seen with businesses. They're really, really, really good at what you do, but they're actually really struggling to articulate that and express it in video form. So if you are, then the easiest way for you to do that, it's not about more content, it's about strategic content. Now, at the moment, I have a program called Content Catalyst for anyone that wants ongoing support with actually creating video. Each month we have and look, Content Catalyst, I created a community because it's all about implementation. I think we spend a lot of time learning things, but we don't actually get around to implementing. And that is why I created Content Catalyst. We have a beautiful community of members. Liz here, that's here today, is one of our members. Hey, Liz, welcome. And if you do want to become part of Content Catalyst, we have 3 sessions a month, which is our strategy session, and then we have a video editing session, and then we have a content planning session each month. Now, one of the things that I have created in the last 6 months was Blueprint. So Blueprint is your strategy, and it is also at the moment, as I'm speaking, these sessions help me maintain momentum so well. Thanks, Liz. Yeah. At the moment, our Blueprint is a content strategy, but it's actually had a bit of a makeover. It's now actually your whole marketing intelligence system using AI. And in the next week, I will be dropping this upgraded version for our members. And you can get on the wait list for this as well. Basically, if you're using AI at the moment, you're probably only getting very average responses. And that's because it doesn't matter whether you use ChatGPT, I use Perplexity, Gemini, Autopilot, whatever you're using, it needs a central intelligence of your business and your brand. And that is essentially what I've created is a DNA for your business and your brand. You answer some questions and then it creates a document that you can upload into whatever your chosen AI is. And then I've also created a little army of AI assistants as well. And so those little AI assistants is exactly what I showed you. What I do now is I have a business bestie, which is my generalist. And then these are all little taskmasters. That's my little army there. I actually have more than 10, which I share with our members. And essentially these beautiful little squad goes, and like I said, I can now get that video and I can go over and I can click a button. You can see I've got spaces here. So for anyone that actually has a podcast, for example, I'll get my little podcast writer. Where are you? YouTube. Oh, there we go. Let's use this one. I've got a script writer. So for example, if you are running some meta ads, you can actually go in here and you can put my video is about making videos in Capcut. And then it will ask you a series of questions and give you a 30-second optimized script. And that's just one example of one of my AI assistants that I use. I have a monthly content planner, which you answer 3 questions. The month that I'm working on is July. And my topic is content marketing. Actually, no, it's not. It's AI for marketing. And I have a webinar on the 30th of July. So answering these 3 questions will then go and produce a full month of content marketing across all your platforms, including your emails, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your long form content, your short form content, and it'll step you through that whole thing with a click of a button. Now, the reason why this actually is as good as it is because I have a blueprint, which is my business DNA, and it's already knows my business. This will still work for your business in a generic form, but when you actually program it with your blueprint, it will go next level because it knows your business goals, it knows who your audience is, it knows your messaging. So then you can actually write content for, and that'll give me my reels, it'll give me my email newsletter. And so, yeah, these are some of the things that I love to share. So I hope this has been helpful for today. If you do want to jump on my waitlist for the blueprint, if you do want to join Content Catalyst, you can jump in anytime. That is something that is available at any time for people to join. I believe that you should have access to business resources when you need them. I don't open and close doors for that reason. You can scan that and jump into Content Catalyst. We have, where are we up to? Next week, Monday session is a video editing session because we had a public holiday, and then we go into content planning. So the idea with our content planning, these are workrooms that you come in and plan all of your content that you are going to do, include your lead generation and your video email marketing content for the month. And so for anyone that does join, you will get access to the blueprint when I release that as part of your membership as well. So you'll get that full DNA program in there. So I hope this has helped. One of the things that I do say is that if you do want more of my resources, you can go over to my YouTube page. I have plenty of videos that I drop a new video each week. And that's my YouTube channel. I've got AI, I've got more editing videos. If you want to set up your brand kit, you can go over to there. And then I've also got my video podcast as well. And there's plenty of great resources in there. So if you're just starting out your video journey, if I recommend nothing else, is practice every day. If you practice every day, you will get better and better and better just by opening the app, whatever you're using. And if you practice every day, you will find that turning up on video becomes less and less harder. There are a lot of shortcuts, and I share those shortcuts every month inside Content Catalyst if you do want to continue your journey of learning how to create content to generate leads and an audience. So thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate that. I'm just going to stop recording now. If you've got any questions, feel free to send me a DM or send me an email, and I'd be most happy to answer your questions. Thanks again.